Which is the better gift for your child or grandchild, money or stocks? Helping us decide is Esther Halt with Star Financial Solutions. This is a question so many people have because obviously you have a child or grandchild, you want to give them something.
Correct.
Okay. Can we just give them money, or is there specific ways that we have to give them
Well,
money?
you can, but depending on what you're giving and where it's coming from and to whom it's going to, there may be better ways where you can get a benefit one way or the other.
All right. And what are some of those ways?
So if you're gifting to a child or a grandchild or another
Yes.
person, as we discussed a few weeks ago, a 529 plan or a UTMA or UGMA would be the way to go. And for that, you'd give them cash. If you want to give them securities or stocks, you may want to wait on that. So if you have a trust or a will, also, you can have what you call a TOD account, transfer on death account, and transfer it that way. If you wait until you pass to give securities to another person, what happens is the cost basis steps up. Okay, so you don't know what that means.
No.
What it means is that what you paid for it will
Yes.
now be the value on your date of death.
No.
Yeah. So that way, your children or grandchildren will not have to pay that tax because you've owned a stock for 20, 30 years and you bought it at $2 a share and now it's $50 a share. They don't have to pay all that tax if you wait until you pass.
Okay.
Then we're starting even again.
They only have to pay the tax on the
From the day you die until they sell it.
Okay.
So it's a benefit to them that way.
Right.
Also, if you put money into a 529 plan, you know, depending on where you live, you may get a benefit that way, not in Florida. So
Okay.
there are different ways to do that.
All right. Is there a limit that you can give per year, per lifetime?
Yes, and those limits change. So make sure that you check with your tax professional when you do any of this giving, because the limits can change, the rules can change, there's all kinds of things that change.
Right.
So right now, the annual gifting limit is $15,000. And
Per
again,
child,
per what you can give per person.
Per person.
However,
Okay.
if you're married and you can give $15,000
Right.
and your husband can give $15,000 and that's $30,000, then you have the lifetime limit, which right now is $5.6 million. And that also can change. And if you do more than the yearly limit, you have to file a certain tax form.
Okay, so you can, but that is probably not a good thing to do.
Well, no, you can, and
Yeah.
you just need to make sure you file the tax
Okay.
form and that you talk to an accountant.
So is there, in your professional analysis, a better way to give or a worst way to give? I mean, is there
Well,
pros and
again, if
cons
you're
again,
giving
right?
to a person,
Yeah.
that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Cash is king, and give. You know, while you're alive, it would be cash.
Right.
After you pass, it would be your stocks and your other assets.
Yeah.
If you're giving to a charity,
Yes.
we discussed RMDs a few weeks ago from your IRA,
Yeah.
so that's a great way, and then you get the benefit that way because you don't pay tax on that money. The QCDs, I'm sorry, from your qualified charitable distributions from your IRA, and then you don't pay tax.
That's the
that
best
you'd have
way?
to. Or if it's a charity
Yes.
and you have stocks that have appreciated, you can give the charity the stocks and they don't have to pay capital gains. So again, you have the stock you bought at 3, it's now worth 50. If you were to sell it, you'd have to pay tax on that difference. If you give that to a charity, you get the benefit of the deduction of giving the charity that value, but also they will not have to pay the tax because they're a charity.
Okay. So what is a gift tax, and are there tax limits on that?
Oh, believe it or not, if you gift somebody, you pay tax, and that's to a person. You have to pay the tax for giving somebody money. And again, that's if you give over the limit and you don't file the form. So always file the form. If you're going to give more than the lifetime limits, you really need to talk to your tax professional and see, what to do, or maybe there's better ways to do that.
Okay. So one way or the other, basically, you're going to pay taxes.
Not necessarily.
No.
So,
And if you don't want to,
if you don't want to, you just need to plan on how you're giving.
Okay.
If you're giving the cash, if you're giving the securities, how you're doing it, again, so that you don't have to pay any taxes. If you give within the limits, then there is no gift tax that you have to pay.
I like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
stay within limits.
Okay. Thank you, Esther. We'll see you again.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us on Aging Gracefully on Suncoast FYI. To find more tips from local experts, you can view previous episodes and complete seasons at snntv.com under programming. We'll be back next Saturday and Sunday at 7 p.m. with more tips on how you can live a happier and healthy life. Until then, have a wonderful week.